And then after being down 23-7 in the fourth quarter, they fight all the way back to be within a touchdown and a point after. And then in the 14 seconds left, they ran the football and the clock ran out because they couldn't spot it. And they lose after having the second best record in the NFL. And then their own fans were throwing stuff at them as they walked off the field. Oh, man, it was great to see the Cowboys lose. Oh, that was such a great time. Oh, man, we needed that. We needed that, didn't we? I think we did. Welcome to the show. My name is Marc Farzy. That is a little show we do called The Farzy Show. We're in the Steven Sager Studios. Nice to have you along. I wanted to start out with that before I got to what do you call it? Crap that we saw for the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. 1 o'clock against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It was 31-15. So that was awful. That was awful. But I believe my really good buddy, one of my best friends, Ryan Bennett. Bennett, I love you, brother. You texted me late last night saying, the Cowboys losing kind of makes you feel like the Eagles went 1-1 today. And I thought that was the perfect way to sum that up. Now, does it make me feel better that the Cowboys lost? Yes, it does. Because if you would have told me that going into yesterday, hey, look, the Eagles are going to lose, I'd be like, you know what? You're right. They're going to lose. And I didn't pick them to win. I picked them to cover. And I was excited about that. I was like, you know what? They might cover. And they almost did. One more touchdown, they would have covered. I guess that's not almost. If it's one more touchdown and another extra point or another 2-point conversion. But whatever. They were close. At least. And it was exactly almost the way I thought that it was going to happen with them doing it on the backdoor cover. And it almost happened, kind of, but not really. But anyway, if you would have won in the Sunday and told me the Eagles are going to lose, but so are the Cowboys, I would have been like, well, sign me up, by golly. But here's the thing. I didn't expect them to win. And every criticism I throw at the Eagles today, every criticism, every critique I throw at that team today, it's going to come under the jurisdiction of, I didn't expect them to win, but I did expect a much better version of what we saw yesterday against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, they got to Tom Brady 4 times in this game, which is miraculous when you think about Tom Brady getting rid of the football. And yesterday, I don't know if you saw this stat. I want to make sure I have this number right because I want to make sure I give it justice. Tom Brady was getting rid of the football on average in the pocket 2.17. 2 seconds, 0.17, okay? Little over 2 seconds in the pocket. He was 1, 2, gone. Ball was gone. So that's kind of hard guy to get to. Now, the other miraculous thing about that is that for a good portion of this game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers were down 2 of their starting offensive linemen. One ended up coming back in this game. But still, with all that, the Eagles still had trouble getting to Tom Brady as he was getting rid of the football so quickly. Then in the second half, Ryan Kerrigan, nice to see you, was actually getting into the backfield. So there we go. We started off with a positive on Ryan Kerrigan there with the Philadelphia Eagles. I guess the give and take of it was like throughout the whole season, the rest of the team could play well, but Ryan Kerrigan could not. And then at the end of the season, Ryan Kerrigan could play well. The rest of the team could not. So I guess that was the give and take of signing Ryan Kerrigan to this squad. But he did get elevated a roster spot and a assignment spot, if you will, with Josh Sweat. Thank God he's okay with Josh Sweat not being able to play yesterday. But yes, I still believe was pretty big for the Eagles that he wasn't playing, but Ryan Kerrigan certainly stepped up in that. Here's what drove me crazy. This is not revisionist history because I said this from the get-go. I hated the fact that the starters didn't play in week 18, against the Dallas Cowboys. Hated the starters didn't play even a little bit. Like I would have settled for a couple of series, maybe not even the first quarter. That probably would have been the first quarter, but at least play the first quarter because you were so dreadful at starting football games and your offense was terrible. It wasn't like, oh man, they're struggling a little bit starting out games. They were terrible. 3 points in the first quarter, averaging 5 points in the first half in your last 4 games of the season with Jalen Hurts as your starting quarterback. That's terrible. That's not, they're sputtering a little out of the gate. That's god awful. So get a little bit more confidence under your belt. Get a little bit more confidence going into the playoffs by actually having those guys go out and, try to do something good, try to do something well to start out the game. They opted not to do that. All right, fine. Not revisionist history, but that's the way I took it after they lost to the Cowboys in Week 18. So then what do they do coming into this game against Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Oh, well, shocker. They don't score in the first half. Cool. To get off that point for a second. This game felt like it was lost from the very early goings of it. And before the clock even started to tick, this game felt lost. I understand that Nick Sirianni's philosophy, and a lot of head coaches' philosophies, is to defer to the second half. I think any kid who's played Madden likes to defer to the second half because you get the opportunity for back-to-back scores. It's like having a turnover built in almost in the middle of the game, possibly. Okay. With your offense playing as terribly as they were starting out football games, you opted to give the football to Tom Brady and said, hey, Tom, why don't you set the tone? And Tom Brady's like, oh, thank you very much. March down the field, 12 plays, 5 minutes, touchdown. Cool, thank you, Tom. You get the ball back, and this is where your next problem comes in. First problem was Nick Sirianni and the coin toss. Second problem was Nick Sirianni and the game plan. How did I, as a guy who's never played in the NFL, as a guy who played, how many games did we play as a freshman in Archbishop Wood? Did we play 12 games? 12 games of freshman football under my belt. How did I know that Todd Bowles was going to say, yeah, okay, yeah, you beat us with Jalen Hurts throwing the football? How did I know that? How did most people watching this game think, how do they know going into this game that Todd Bowles was going to say, okay, all right, so I got to beat the Eagles. I'm going to take away their run. I'm going to stack the box, and I'm going to force you to beat me with Jalen Hurts throwing the football. Jalen Hurts, the guy that the Eagles thought it would be better for their offense if they gave the quarterback less responsibility and they took off running the football. I'm going to go ahead and stop that run and make Jalen Hurts beat me by throwing the ball. Good luck, Eagles. Go ahead, have at it. And the Eagles didn't do anything. They didn't do anything to counter that. The first 15 plays, the openers that Nick Sirianni likes to refer to, I didn't see anything that he was trying to counter the attack of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I saw one play, I think it was the first third down, and Dallas Goedert talked about it later after the game, saying that he missed the assignment. He blew the call, essentially. He originally said, and I think he misspoke, but he originally said that there was a wrong call made. Was there miscommunication there? Was there an issue there with just overall trying to hear people? He said it was really loud in the stadium, so he really couldn't hear the play call. Maybe he blocked the wrong guy, so I think he was really taking responsibility upon himself. But it was a third down play, 3rd and 2. They run a read option. And Jalen Hurts has the ball in the mesh point in the stomach of Miles Sanders for like 2 or 3 seconds. It's supposed to be about a half second. And he has the ball in the mesh point, and he's reading the end, and I believe he was also reading the linebacker. And he was trying to see who he was coming after. And the problem was they had it covered because they had 8 men in the box. They had both Miles Sanders covered, and they had Jalen Hurts covered in case he decided to keep the football, which he ended up doing. Because the running back was covered and the quarterback was covered, Hurts just figured, why am I going to let my running back get hit? I'll just take the easy hit here and more or less take a dive. And that's what he did on that particular play. It was extremely well covered. Why? Because the Buccaneers knew exactly what was coming. So, and that's all. Another thing Dallas Goedert said after the game was that this football team just kind of knew what they were doing. They had perfect coverage in so many different situations where they just took away the run option from the Philadelphia Eagles. So as you're watching this game unfold in the first quarter, you're thinking, all right, at some point you're going to throw the ball downfield. You're going to throw a pass that's not going to be sideline to sideline, but it's going to be north-south, right? At some point, you have to realize that the Buccaneers are saying, yeah, go ahead, try to beat us with Jalen Hurts. And then at some point, you have to try to beat him with Jalen Hurts before the fourth quarter where you actually started airing the football out a little bit. That is ridiculous to me that Nick Sirianni, first off, deferred and said, hey, Tom Brady, you set the pace. And then the game plan was atrocious. Even when you start out, I've always said this, throw the best version of yourself at the team and see if you can win. It wasn't working in the early goings. And it seemed like it took at least 2 quarters for there to be any almost 2 quarters before there was any adjustment. You finally started to see Devontae Smith try to get involved in the game plan late in the second quarter. You started to see them start to throw the ball a little bit more late in the second quarter. They finally made that adjustment. But even in the midst of making the adjustment, they still threw sideline to sideline as opposed to north and south, up and down the field. That's not how you counter 8-man in the box. You got to try to get something going down the field. Yeah, sure, there could be the occasional, out route, whatever you want to call it, the drag route. You could have the occasional, somebody runs into the flat, you toss it to them like they did on the first pass of the game with Boston Scott. But really, other than that, there was no creativity trying to get past this team. You should have known what they were doing to start out. You did what you rode the horse that brought you as far as being a rush-first team, a run-first team. But the minute they started stacking the box, the minute you saw that continuously throughout the entire first quarter of this game and well into the second quarter, where's the creativity to get around that? I'm not saying abandon the run by any means. I'm not doing that. But I'm saying, how did we know, a good amount of the fans know going into this game, that's what the Buccaneers were going to do? And that's what they did. And you couldn't beat it. And not even could you not beat it. There wasn't even an attempt to beat it until late in the second quarter. That's atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. Now, Nick Sirianni is definitely in my crosshairs for this game. Just awful game plan to start things out. The name that I know a lot of people are kicking around today is Jalen for 2 reasons. Hurts and Reagor. Both were not good yesterday. Let me start off with Jalen Reagor. Nick Sirianni more or less said if Greg Ward wasn't hurt in this game, that he probably would have at least gotten those reps on the field as far as non-special teams plays. As far as Jalen Reagor having anything to do with a punt ever again for the Philadelphia Eagles, I said during this game that his last punt that he should have ever seen in a Philadelphia Eagles uniform was 3 punts ago. And that was where he let that ball bounce. Should have just had a fair catch, and he didn't do it. The very next play, he had the muff punt. Then after that, he had another muff punt. Like, how much more are we going to take with this with Jalen Reagor? I mean, we went through it with J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, who was a second-round pick. So what do you think they're going to do to defend Jalen Reagor, in all honesty? I think they're going to defend him a little bit more. But Nick Sirianni, to his credit, did say after the game that, if Greg Ward didn't get hurt, then we probably have him more in the game. He was asked point blank, Nick Sirianni was, about Jalen Reagor in this game and whether or not he thought about taking him out. And he said, he had struggled with the wind. It was really windy, and he blamed the wind, basically. But he said, basically, if Greg Ward wasn't hurt, you would have seen him on the field trying to catch passes more so than Jalen Reagor at the end of that game. I'm good on Jalen Reagor. It ain't going to happen here. I don't see a positive in keeping him around. That was an awful first-round pick. The entire city of Philadelphia, if not the entire football world, knew it was an awful first-round pick, especially with Justin Jefferson. Not hindsight, not revisionist history, not Monday morning quarterback. Before Jalen Reagor's name was announced at the NFL draft, people were going, Justin Jefferson. I'm sitting at home. Justin Jefferson. Jalen Reagor. No! What are you doing? And that's where we're at. So I'm good on the whole Jalen Reagor thing from here on out. Whatever it is. If you're going to make excuses for him, no one in Philadelphia is going to accept that. If accountability is even a thing that is believed in by this coaching staff, which they love to praise and say, you got to be accountable. Okay, let's see it. Let's start with Jalen Reagor, and then we'll go from there to prove how much accountability you really have. The other Jalen, starting quarterback of this football team, had a terrible game, an awful game. I will say this, just to get this out of the way. I am still in the school, even after that dreadful game, that Jalen Hurts will be the starting quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles in 2022. That's what I think the Eagles are going to do. That's what I quite frankly I'm hoping they do, because I don't look at this draft and go, these guys, these are definitely the franchise guys. No. I'd rather stick with Jalen Hurts for one more year, especially with the way the team developed through the year, even with as easy as the schedule was in the second half of the season. I still rather see Jalen Hurts get another opportunity to improve on the struggles that he had throughout the year, the inaccuracy, the weak arm throws, late reads, inability to read defenses at times. I'd rather see that get another opportunity to mature and improve than just say, all right, well, that was your shot. See you later. I'd rather see how that develops. And it seems like this locker room really wants him to have an opportunity to do that as well. Now, with that being said, holy God, was he terrible yesterday. I've been rooting for the guy all year, but you cannot tell me, oh, that's just a flash in the pan. Like, that was a terrible performance yesterday. His play calling from Nick Sirianni certainly didn't help him, but when he had opportunities to make plays, he missed plays. Dallas Goedert had one really bad drop in this game. But other than that, the near interception to Jalen Reagor on the sidelines on that little hitch route on that 4th and 10 play, bad throw, threw short. It looked like that was an early read in the progression. You could see when he went back on his 3-step drop, he looked off to his right almost immediately. I'll give him this. He didn't telegraph that. For all the plays that we want to talk about him telegraphing passes, he didn't telegraph that pass. He was looking in the middle of the field, then scanned over to the right, saw Reagor, tried to get him the football, and it was an awful throw. And he had time in the pocket, planted his foot, let it go, short of the first, or he got it to the first down, but it was short of the receiver. The defensive back almost had an interception that would have been Jalen Hurts' first interception of the game. It wasn't, went right through his arms. Shortly thereafter, another play went through Levante David's hands as Jalen Hurts was just trying to get rid of it. And then the awfulness of just not being able to get the ball to Devontae Smith in the end zone when the defensive back fell down. He threw short of the end zone, made Devontae Smith come back to the football. Jalen Hurts on this particular play right before halftime, the first interception of the game, rolled to his left, saw the defensive back fall. The minute he saw that, the second he saw that, he rocked back, planted, tried to fire the football into the end zone, made Devontae Smith come back for it. As the safety's starting to drift over, he comes over for the interception. Great play by the safety. Awful throw by Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts' throw and his decision there to put the ball in that spot allowed the safety to come over and make that interception. Jalen Hurts had to put that in the back of the end zone for Devontae Smith to make the play so that the safety in the situation couldn't have come over, read it as well as he did, and then be right there to intercept that ball. That ball has to be in the back of the end zone, not in the front of the end zone. You shouldn't have had to make Devontae Smith come back to the ball on that play. That's a ball he should have been being able to drift back into that corner of the end zone and come down with. So that was a bad throw by Jalen Hurts. Under duress, but that's still a throw he's got to make. If you go back and you look at that particular play, as Jalen Hurts is rolling to his left, there are no offensive linemen in the shot. It is 5 defensive players. There's 4 linemen, and I think there's Levante David coming in to make a play on Jalen Hurts. He recognized the defensive back fell down. He rocked back, threw it, underthrown, interception. First pick of the game. Awful play. Awful play. There was another play that Dan Orlovsky actually broke down for people on social media, broke this down on Twitter, saying that he was encouraged about all the steps forward that Jalen Hurts had taken this year, as am I, but this particular game, not so good. There was another play earlier in the game, ended up being, I believe it was an incompletion, but Jalen Hurts drops back, gets to the top of his drop back, looks down the field. Quez Watkins is running an out route, wide open with no over-the-top safety help, doesn't elect to go to him, instead throws a short pass off to the left. Not the best decision for your quarterback. There was another play similar to that situation where he went for Dallas Goedert in double coverage. He elected not to go to Quez Watkins again, who had single coverage. You throw that ball downfield, there's no way Quez Watkins isn't coming down with that one. That one could have been a touchdown if it's placed in the right spot. That was in the early goings of this game. I believe it was early in the second quarter. Dallas Goedert the drop, I mentioned that. Devontae Smith just not getting involved at all in the early goings of this game was astonishing to me. As the game went on, and Nick Sirianni came out afterwards because he was asked about Devontae Smith not getting targeted until about 5 minutes left in the first half. He was asked about that. He said, "Oh yeah, they took away Devontae Smith a lot in this one, and we tried to call plays for him, and then they ended up taking it away." It seems really easy to take him out of a game, and I think that's two-part. I think one, I think that's a rookie. Okay, I can give you that. I can understand that. And then the other is just Jalen Hurts. If you take a receiver out of the game that easily, I didn't notice too many double coverage of Devontae Smith. And here's one thing I know about Devontae Smith: he can get open. Not a lot of cornerbacks in the NFL can stay with him one-on-one. So if you're talking about a timing route, if you're talking about just trying to put the ball on his number, because he wears number 6, that's an accuracy issue with your quarterback. That shouldn't be that easy to take him out of a game especially if he is not being double covered. Especially if you got 8 men in the box. That seems like a situation where you'd be able to get DeVonta Smith, even on your precious little sideline plays. That'd be a good idea to get him involved in those. But apparently not happening until much later, until about a quarter and a half into this game. That's not good. You got to find it. This isn't the first time this has happened. You got to find a way to get your best players involved in the game. And they weren't able to do that until it felt like the game was already out of hand. And then when they were able to do it, it felt like they were forcing it. Both interceptions that Jalen Hurts threw in this game were to DeVonta Smith. Yeah, the one I previously mentioned in the end zone, and then you had the other one where Levante David jumped up in the sky, tipped the ball to himself, came down with the interception. I don't know how it's that hard to get him involved. That's something the Eagles have to improve on, both for Nick Sirianni, his play calling and scheming guys open, and Jalen Hurts finding the open guy as the game goes on. But overall, this was just such a disappointing performance by the Eagles. Again, as I started this little rant off with, this was the type of game that I did not expect them to win. I expected them to maybe cover the 8.5. Some got them at 9.5. I think it was 7.5 is what it was at kickoff. I thought they'd cover the 9.5. Didn't happen, but I didn't expect them to win. I also didn't expect them to play as terribly as they did in this game against the Bucs. The Bucs could have done pretty much whatever they wanted when the Eagles were still in this game. And I give Jonathan Gannon's defense credit, actually, in this game. I thought they were put in a bad spot by giving Tom Brady the ball first. That was dumb. And then I thought there were a couple of situations where they held the Buccaneers to field goals. Then I believe there was 3 straight 3-and-outs for the Bucs. And then you had the muff punt by Reagor. And that turned the tides of the game. It was 17-0. Eagles were going to get the ball back at the start of halftime, early in the third quarter. They were going to get the ball back, and Jalen Reagor muffed the punt. And the next thing you know, Gronk gets the touchdown. It's 24-0 now in favor of the Buccaneers, and the Eagles couldn't get anything going. Absolutely just flat out atrocious. I know a lot of people's opinions of Jalen Hurts are going to be swayed drastically. I think that is going to happen in the front office where they're going to question this a lot. I still don't think they're going to go after a quarterback in this draft. I think their fish-a-wish scenario is they're able to trade for Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. And if they're not able to do any of those three, then what they're going to do is they're going to go into this offseason with Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback for next year. And that'll be the plan going forward. That's where we are right now as a society, Philadelphia Eagles fan base. That's where we're at right now as a fan base. So we'll see where the Eagles go in the offseason, but that's what I believe their route will be when the season starts next year. Now, here is one thing that I think the Eagles really can't get away from. I don't think they're going to trade Gardner Minshew. I think if they don't go and draft a quarterback, and possibly even if they do draft a quarterback, I think Gardner Minshew will still be here unless somebody's really banging down the door for Gardner Minshew, which I don't see happening. But if everything's a competition, then it's a clean slate next year. And that's what I foresee in training camp. I think Jalen Hurts will ultimately win that job, but I think what we're going to be talking about next year isn't Jalen Hurts versus Kenny Pickett, or I don't think it's Jalen Hurts versus Malik Willis. I don't think it's going to be him versus Carroll, for instance. I think you're going to be looking at this versus Minshew versus Hurts in the preseason. That's what I think the competition is going to be. And I think a lot of times, it was funny. I saw a headline that said that Nick Sirianni gave a rousing endorsement of, I think they had it on the crawl, as a matter of fact, on ESPN, of Jalen Hurts. I watch every press conference. I have yet to hear the rousing endorsement for Jalen Hurts for next year. And it's funny, when Nick Sirianni, one thing that hasn't changed at all about Nick Sirianni, when he's asked about roster moves, he's very sheepish. He doesn't really go, he's not very bullish when it comes to roster moves. Oh, well, who's your quarterback next year or something like that? Or even if you remember his introductory press conference, this is one thing that hasn't changed. So is Carson Wentz your starting quarterback? Whoa. Howie. I believe Howie, Jeff, organization, as an organization, as a team, as everyone, we're going to, that's a good question. We're going to talk about it. Yeah, that's not really his MO. to name, to project who the rosters or who's going to be on the roster going forward. I didn't get that. In our Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report, we'll let you hear Nick Sirianni talk about Jalen Hurts. He had really nice things to say. But it wasn't just like, oh, Jalen Hurts is coming back. He's going to be our starting quarterback next year. This team's going to flourish with him under center. It wasn't that, nor would I expect it to be, because that tips your hand in a lot of other avenues. The only real ringing endorsements that I heard surrounding Jalen Hurts yesterday had to do with Dallas Goedert, and they had to do with Jordan Mailata. And both those guys signed some big money deals this year. So if they want to keep the locker room happy, it seems like Jalen Hurts will be the guy. Those two talking about him the way they did, and we'll let you hear what they had to say about Jalen Hurts, is the best endorsement you'll hear as to him being back next year as the starting quarterback. We'll see where the franchise does go as we go on into the offseason here, but that was not the way a lot of people wanted to see this season end. I didn't expect them to win, but good God, I expected a much better effort than what we saw in this game against the Buccaneers. Before we get to the Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report, I do want to tell you about my good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Ladies and gentlemen, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, Steven has been in the love business in Philadelphia for over 40 years, helping people get engaged, fall in love, give the great smiles over the holidays. Valentine's Day just around the corner now, everybody. So make sure you get your beautiful gold dip rose at Steven Singer Jewelers. I got a lot of, I showed you guys before, I got a big old bouquet of gold dip roses by now from Steven Singer because, I've known him for so long. And, of course, they're just the perfect gift around Valentine's Day. It's the perfect thing. You get the nice card. You get the nice gold dip rose. You go out to dinner. It's the perfect setup there. So I found out yesterday. I got done doing the post-game show. And wouldn't you know it, I see my daughter, I see little Toots, 2.5 years old, sitting on my dining room table. And she is individually taking out each rose that we have as our centerpiece, gold dip roses. And she's just in awe of them. And I go, and now I got 2 ladies to buy roses for Valentine's Day because now little Toots is enthralled. She loves them. Well, you know what? If you're a little lady or your lady, love a nice gold dip rose, Steven Singer is the place to go. Absolutely beautiful gold dip roses from Steven Singer Jewelers. Looking to get engaged on Valentine's Day? Ready for Love diamond engagement rings standing by at the ready, as well as all their beautiful inventory with diamond engagement rings at Steven Singer Jewelers. Check them out online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at I Hate Steven Singer. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. One place, one price, the perfect price every single day at Steven Singer Jewelers, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right on Jewelers Row. Let's get into our Rothman Orthopaedics locker room report. A lot to get into from Nick Sirianni, Dallas Goedert, and Jordan Mailata. Plus, something else we're going to do here, we're going to check it in Dallas. Because one of the things I like to do in any talk show I've ever done is you always have to think to yourself, what if it happened here? Dallas was throwing things at their own players. Well, let's see the video if you haven't seen it from, I believe it's Jenny Slater of NFL Network. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. And also, one of the Kelsey brothers provoked a very excited mother. Let's just say that. I don't want to say induced excitement in a mother. That sounds weird. They made their mom really happy. Anyway, so we'll get to that in just a second. But first, we're going to just have things as it relates to the Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Sirianni. Now, a lot of people look at the first playoff game and say that the moment got too big for a lot of these guys, Jalen Hurts included. Nick Sirianni was asked that question by Jeff McClain to the Inquirer about whether or not the moment was too big for some of his players. Here's how the Eagles head coach handled that question.
You can't make mistakes like that in the playoffs against a really good football team, and we did. I don't want to say the moment got too big for him. I just think we made some mistakes. Coaching, it always starts with me as a coach. There were some coaching mistakes, and there's going to be guys that are going to want some plays back out there. But I didn't feel and I didn't sense for a moment that the moment was too big for him. It was a great atmosphere here. But I never felt that out there. We just didn't make some plays, and we didn't coach good enough at the end of the day.
Okay, all right. Coaching mistakes: deferring in the first quarter, deferring the coin toss in the second half, deferring the ball. Mistake. Second, no help. Like, here's the thing: a lot of times we say you can't just abandon the run. You still got to, and I always say this: you got to be the best version of yourself and throw it in the Buccaneers' face, and then see how they handle it. Well, they handled it really well. And then you didn't make an adjustment to anything until there was about 5 minutes left in the first half. That's a little too late. So already you were giving the ball to Tampa Bay. You were giving the ball to Tom Brady and say, you guys have at it. What's Tom Brady going to do with the first possession? That would be a good example. And that's where analytics kind of, you have a little bit of an issue when you go by the numbers a little too much here. And that would be a perfect example of with Tom Brady and giving him the ball first. Yeah, you should always take the ball first. Or excuse me, you should always defer to the second half. Except when you're facing a hot offense and it's the greatest quarterback to ever play. Maybe then don't let them set the tone. Maybe then don't allow them to set the pace. Maybe then take the ball first. Hopefully, if you, according to your game plan, get the ball first. You have a long drive running the football. Tom Brady's there sitting on the sideline for 6, 7, 8 minutes maybe. And then he's got to come in and try to rally everybody by the end of the first quarter and get things going by the end of the first half. Maybe that's how you would gain a little bit more of an advantage than giving him the ball first. So that's one thing I didn't like that Nick Sirianni did to start things off. The second was waiting too long to make adjustments. I'm not saying, oh, the run wasn't working. Get away from it. Run away from the run. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying find that balanced attack in the early goings of this game when you realize that they're stacking 8 men in the box. Don't get away from it like you did throughout the Dallas game in week 3, which I referenced yesterday on social media, where you only ran the ball with your running backs 3 times throughout the entire game. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying mix it up in the early goings. And they didn't really do that. And when they did do it, it was little throws to the flat. It was everything to the right or left of Jalen Hurts and nothing down the field. That's awful. That's god-awful. And that's the biggest indictment of Jalen Hurts in this game is that you looked at a defensive coordinator, a really good defensive coordinator, or excuse me, he looked at your offense rather and said, well, I know how to beat this team. I mean, when Aaron Andrews said the report during the game that she talked to Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles at halftime as they were walking off the field, and they said, well, we weren't really worried about their run game. We could stop their run. So if we could just control that, we think we got this game. So in other words, make them throw with this quarterback, and they got it. Seems easy enough. Their game plan seemed to work. So that was Nick Sirianni talking about the moment not being too big. And look, no head coach is really going to go out there and be like, oh, yeah, these guys really shriveled in the moment. What am I going to do with these guys? No, but you know what? Because I think Nick Sirianni in the moment was a little too big for him as well. I think he overthought a lot of things going into this football game. So, yeah, I do think the moment got to these guys. I don't think any one of them would admit it. And quite frankly, I don't want him to admit it. I want him to feel like, no. I was ready to play. It felt good. It was just a matter of me not executing. Okay, let's prove that hopefully next year. The big thing was Jalen Hurts' performance. Nick Sirianni was asked about what his takeaways were from Jalen Hurts.
Obviously, I need to go back and watch the tape. Again, we weren't as crisp as we needed to be on offense. I thought there were some good zone read things that he did and read it pretty well. A couple of the early things that happened, like some of the early third downs weren't necessarily his fault of what happened. Again, I'll have to watch the tape through it. It's not going to come out as his best graded game, and it's not going to come out as a lot of our guys' best graded game. So I'll have to watch the tape to get further answers for you. But again, just not a crisp game, and that always starts with me as the head coach, and then another quarterback. We're always going to take responsibility for that.
Well, everyone loves that you take responsibility. That's great. When he watches the film, I think he's going to see a lot of missed opportunities from Jalen Hurts. And that's as a guy that's been rooting for the guy and still thinks he's a starting quarterback next year. And then after that, that's really where you're going to decide whether or not he'll be the guy forever here in Philly for 10 years, whatever. But that was not his best foot forward yesterday. And I think he even admits to that. He acknowledged it. He took a lot of responsibility. I'll let you hear from him in a second. But overall, the two guys that I look at the most in this game for why they lost this football game was Nick Sirianni and not having a good game plan, failing to make adjustments, and then Jalen Hurts not being able to hit open targets and not scanning the field well in this game. And there are things that I know a lot of times you could look at when you're really looking to explain why a quarterback. People did this all the time with Carson Wentz, and God, I hated it. I am the opposite of a quarterback coddler. You're an NFL quarterback. You're supposed to be, you can never be part of the problem consistently. You can have a bad game. You can miss throws. But when a team is really struggling, you can't be part of the problem. Carson Wentz was part of the problem. Oh, no, Carson needs more receivers. He needs more time. He's got a bad offensive line. Yeah, but when he does have time, he's still terrible. Like, you can't consistently be part of the problem and looked at as a franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts has had spurts this season where he has been part of the problem. I wouldn't say it was nearly as consistent as Carson Wentz was a year ago. And here's the other thing. I can take it from Jalen Hurts a lot more than I can take it from Carson Wentz last year. Because Carson Wentz was the franchise guy already. He had already been an MVP caliber player. He had been in the league for 4 years already. Jalen Hurts is a guy literally getting his first starts of his NFL career. I could take this performance from him as a 23-year-old, the youngest quarterback ever in the playoff history for the Eagles. I could take this from him thinking this is a good starting point. It's not a good point to be at 4 years down the road like we were just at with Carson Wentz. So that's why I can look at Jalen Hurts and go, yes, this was bad, but man, there's a lot of room for improvement here. And he's got the work ethic and the mindset to be able to do it. But being real about this game, it was awful. And I think when Nick Sirianni goes on, and I know a lot of people will do this, and this is what I was getting at. A lot of people did this with Carson Wentz. Oh, no, that's a dummy route. He's not coached to go to that spot. Yeah, but he is coached to scan the football field. And when he's got an instance, and I'm trying to find the exact moment of this game because I meant to, it was in the second quarter. But he had Dallas Goedert going.
I need to go back and watch the tape. Again, we weren't as crisp as we needed to be on offense.
You hold on a minute. I'll get to you in a second. A little bit of a misfire. But there was a play in this game where Dallas Goedert was streaking out to the left. And in the middle of the football field, not on the other side of the football field, but in the middle of the football field, Quez Watkins was running down the middle of the field, single coverage. While you're scanning, if you're Jalen Hurts, it's literally here and here, here and here. It's not here and here. It's not far right to far left for the people listening on the podcast, make it a radio-friendly thing. But it's left to middle. It wasn't all the way across the field. If you're looking that direction, you're seeing Quez Watkins, and you never saw him. And there was another instance where the same thing happened, and that's the play that Dan Orlovsky broke down in the first quarter of this game. These are all things that Jalen Hurts, I feel like, can improve on, which is why I'm optimistic about him coming back next year. But I think when Nick Sirianni goes back and watches the tape, there's going to be a lot of teaching moments in this game for Jalen Hurts. Finally, here are some other takeaways that he had about Jalen Hurts, not just in this game, but during the year.
We're all going to say for today's game, he didn't play his best game, as we all know. But you don't take the body of work that he had for 17 weeks, and I know he didn't play in 2 games, so 15 weeks, and say you put everything on this game, right? And I know we're all judged on the last game that we played. I understand that. I fully get that. But I felt really, I felt like Jalen grew throughout the year. And he got better as a passer. He got better as a reading the defenses, getting the ball to the right place. He developed so much in his ability to extend plays, of not only making plays with his feet but also making plays downfield on the scramble. I know the one today. He scrambled and threw the interception. He had some other good scrambles that were good plays though as well. So I feel really good with what we have in place right here at the quarterback position. He played. I thought he had a great year, and he came a long way. And that's what I expect from Jalen, just because of the type of football character he has, the type of character he has, the toughness that he has, the love for football that he has. I can't say enough good things about Jalen the player, the person, and the player. And so I feel good about him. I know, again, this was the game that none of us are going to be satisfied with. Me, him, multiple guys on that football team. But I'm really pleased with how he came along this year and the leader he is on this football team.
That's good. He's a leader. That's one thing that's indisputable about Jalen Hurts and what he brings to the table here. But here's the play I was talking about. The 3rd and 4 play, he threw incomplete in the second quarter to Dallas Goedert, who was in double coverage. Then down the middle of the field, streaking down the middle of the field in single coverage, same play was Quez Watkins. He elected to go to Dallas Goedert in double coverage. It was wiped away by the 4th and 4 play that he threw to Dallas Goedert for the first down. And then on a 1st and 10 in the same drive, Dallas Goedert had the big drop where he had all the green in the world in front of him, but was unfortunately unable to come up with the football, which was a good pass, actually, from Jalen Hurts, and they didn't convert. that was a problem. Oh, and also Jalen Hurts escaped coverage or escaped the blitz on that play to be able to deliver that football downfield, and Dallas Goedert didn't come up with it. But that was your head coach, Nick Sirianni, talking about his quarterback's play in this particular game. As for the quarterback himself, here's how Jalen Hurts talked about his performance tonight, or yesterday, rather.
I think for us as a football team, this game does not define us. It does not define who we are. It does not define us at all. And we know all the different things that we've overcome. We know the environment that we built as a football team and the organization. With the youth we've had, and which I've talked about all year. And I know as a football team we'll be back. We'll be back. And this is a feeling that will kind of simmer in our hearts, simmer for us all. And with the youth on this football team, definitely coming back hungry.
You want them to have that fight. Like, one thing that I know we all want to have is we're going to be able to look at our professional athletes and know that they hate losing actually more than they love winning. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, I think one of the big disconnects in Philadelphia between Donovan McNabb and the city was that I don't think the city ever looked at Donovan and be like, man, this guy really hates losing. Look at that fire. Like, I think that's a huge disconnect in this city. But I look at Jalen Hurts and I see a guy that absolutely despises losing. I see a guy up there at the podium throughout the season, 8 losses through the regular season, where he was just sick to his stomach. And I at least appreciate that about his attitude, that he hates losing, I think, almost more so than he loves winning. And that's something that I think will fuel the fire in the offseason for him and a lot of other guys in this locker room. He did have higher expectations for this team, and good for them. You got to have higher expectations. He apparently addressed the team Saturday night, and it was the loudest ovation of all the captains that addressed the team Saturday night, which is great. But Jalen Hurts did talk about how they're only scratching the surface of how good they could really be.
I think the sky's the limit for us if we continue to climb. And I'll say it again, nobody wants to end their season this way. I hate this feeling. But you never waste a mistake. And I do a pretty good job of trying not to do that. Trying not to waste a mistake. So just learn from it.
That's all you can really do. He also said that his third year starts today. And he said that yesterday. He said my third year starts tomorrow, meaning today. So hopefully that's nothing but improvement from here on out. Now, here's what I did think was very interesting. I think the decision as to where the Eagles go with a quarterback, like I said earlier, it's either going to be somebody who's an established veteran or Jalen Hurts next year. That's how I think it's going to shake out. I don't think they're going to go after a quarterback in this draft. I don't think they look at this draft and go, oh, yeah, that Kenny Pickett, he's definitely the guy that's going to be our guy going forward. Willis, he'll be the guy for us going forward. Carroll will be the guy for us going forward. I don't think that's going to be the case. Or Coral, so I don't think that'll be the case going forward. I think it's going to be Jalen Hurts or an established veteran. That's where I think the Eagles go in this regard. But I think one of the things that is interesting is how this locker room seems to really respond to Jalen Hurts. And a lot of this, I know a lot of people, when they hear that, they could say, oh, well, what's he going to say? Yeah, was he going to say, no, Jalen Hurts sucks? No, of course not. But there's political ways to answer questions that are coach speak or player speak or teammate speak, and then there's gushing. And I believe Jordan Mailata and Dallas Goedert really fall under the gushing category here. Here's Dallas Goedert when he was asked about what his quarterback means to him and what it means to have Jalen Hurts as their starter going forward.
Just the amount of passion he has for the game, the winner that he is. Having him back there, it never feels like you're out of a game. When we were down, it didn't matter. He came out there just like he did every other time, did his job, and he's a winner, that's for sure.
It goes beyond just the normal, yeah, it's okay. Like, it goes beyond that. But Jordan Mailata, I thought, was going to break down in tears at one point when talking about Jalen Hurts.
It's everything you want in a player. The will to win, the accountability that he takes. You guys see it. He sat here and was honest with you guys with what the areas he needs to be better at. And I see that. I want to follow that dude. I know that dude wants to win. I know that dude wants to fix his mistakes. That's all I ask. That's all they ask of us. When I see my captain doing that, when I see my QB doing that, I want to do the same thing. You know, it's infectious for me, and that's the culture we're trying to build around here. Hold yourself at the highest accountability and keep pressing on and learn from your mistakes.
And now the offseason of great question begins for the Philadelphia Eagles. But those are two guys in Dallas Goedert and Jordan Mailata that just got paid a lot of money to be on this football team. And I think their words are going to carry some weight going forward because they're going to be two of the newer leaders in the locker room once some of the older guys step aside. And the number one guy people think about when you mention about guys stepping aside or retiring is Jason Kelce. I don't think this is going to be Jason Kelce's last year. And I know we got plenty of time to debate this, and he'll take time, I'm sure, to decide this. But I think Jason Kelce really likes what they have going here in Philadelphia. I think he really likes what they have going here, and I don't think he wants to end on that note. He's got nothing to prove. He's a Hall of Famer. He's an All-Pro for a fourth time. The only 11 guys that do that are all in the Hall of Fame. Jason Kelce is a Super Bowl champion and will be a Hall of Famer. Let me try that again. Jason Kelce is a Super Bowl champion and will be a Hall of Famer. He's got nothing else to prove. But I think he just loves playing. He's got two young kids. He's got a personal life. He can walk into a broadcasting career with no problem right after. He's got nothing to prove, but I believe he still loves playing. And I don't think this will be the last time we see him in an Eagles uniform. I think he comes back next year. We'll see how that plays out. But yes, again, a season of off-season of great question will start up right now. We'll get into a couple other things that we'll let you see in our morning rush, but that was our locker room report brought to you by the great people of Rothman Orthopaedics. Let me tell you about Rothman Orthopaedics, ladies and gentlemen. Remember the old you, the one that didn't have to put up with a fickle knee, finicky hip, or shoulder that no longer does what a shoulder should do? The people of Rothman Orthopaedics, with the Rothman approach to orthopedics, are here to get you back to being you, back to running, walking, working, back to playing, back to living your life the way you want. With same-day appointments available, you can start today at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. Rothman Orthopaedics, the official orthopedic partner of your Phillies, Eagles, and Sixers. How about the people of Windview? Won a couple of bets yesterday, thanks to the good people of Windview. Oh, it's amazing. It's the only game where fans can take on other fans and end the debate once and for all. Who is the biggest sports fan? If you have those friends and family members who think they know everything about sports, challenge them to a Windview contest and see if they can walk the walk as well as they talk the talk. If you want to break up the monotony of family dinners and get-togethers, play a little quarter of football, a little quarter of basketball, maybe a full game, maybe a little prop here and there, and see how you do against your friend or family member. It is a great time to play somebody in a Windview challenge. I believe that Joel Embiid character is going to get back to hitting his over. His over didn't hit the other night against the Celtics. He was playing out Horford. Things didn't exactly go too well for him. Still 25 points. His over is 28.5. Didn't hit that time. So Miss Guzzi didn't win that one for you. But you can win with the Windview app. So download the Windview app right now. It's not a sports book. It's not daily fantasy. It's a social gaming app where fans can take on other fans and win real money prizes for making predictions on the games that you love. So download the Windview app right now. A lot happening in the Philadelphia sports world. Make sure you're following it all at PHL Sports Nation. Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience. How about BetQL? I did hit a bet yesterday thanks to BetQL. It was on Patrick Mahomes over 2.5 touchdowns through, 5 yesterday? Travis Kelce even got a touchdown. More on that. Throwing touchdown, that is. More on that in a second. But I made the bet with the good people of BetQL. Made that bet because of them. Cashed down on it. Thanks very much, BetQL. Their best bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you the best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports. And they give you the reasoning behind why you should place the bet. Their model covers everything from point spreads, over-unders, player props as well. And if you don't want to use their model or prefer to do your own research, BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineups, injuries, breaking news, even a leaderboard for you to track your own success. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download the BetQL app. Now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show, the chat check, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how everybody is doing. It's all a little bit of a debate breakout about how good Jalen Hurts is or how bad he is. Look forward to getting to that. Kevin leads us off saying, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you, Kevin. Marc, what's going on, Marc? Nice to have you. Joe, though throws for a running back to make if Baltimore can't, what? Jalen Hurts, not a franchise quarterback. Okay, Pete. Pete, proven. All right. Eagles and Hurts so far away from being competitive. Okay, Sushi. Jalen Hurts is not even close to being the guy. Game planning leading up to the game. If we just throw screens the whole game, they'll never see it coming. Joe, fine point. April, morning, everyone. The game was rough, but at least the Cowboys lost too. That really is a saving grace. I mean, if I thought the Eagles had a chance at winning yesterday, then I would be like, who cares what the Cowboys did? But the fact that the Cowboys were losing, like, here's the thing. The Cowboys had the second best record in the NFL. There was like a 5-way tie with 5 teams that were 12-5. And they had the second best record at 12-5 in the NFL. They won the division going away. They were then losing in this game to the San Francisco 49ers 23-7 in the early goings of the fourth quarter. They then fought back in this game. They had a big interception. They felt like they were back in it. The blood was pumping again. And then they get another opportunity where they get a first down for the 49ers late in that game, reversed under review because it wasn't a first down. Then the Cowboys get the ball back, march down the field, actually get a huge gain with this run play by Dak Prescott, but can't line up in time. The referee is late spotting the football, and it cost them the game. They ran the ball with, I believe, 16 seconds left, got like a 30-yard gain out of it, but the clock ran out on the Cowboys, and they lost the game. God, that was awesome. They were teased at 2 different occasions. Like, oh, my God, they're running the ball, but oh, my God, it's working. Oh, my God, the clock ran out, and the season's over. Shots of the Cowboys fans crying at AT&T Stadium. Jerry Jones cried his 7th face-off, and now he's going to get another one, so he's going to be 8 faces when he starts next year. Oh, my goodness, we could bask in it. The fact that the Eagles weren't expected to win anyway only helped us with the Cowboys losing. It was just like, well, we didn't expect them to win anyway, but the Cowboys lost? All right, great. I had a conversation with a Cowboy fan the other day. Not a friend of mine. I was doing a podcast, and this guy happened to be on the same podcast. I was a guest on a podcast. And he was like, oh, Eagles suck. Cowboys are great. And I'm like, you know what's going to happen here. You guys are going to win the NFC East. No problem. You're going to be one of the best records in the NFL. All right, no problem. And then you're going to get the players are going to lose. And then we're all going to laugh at you because you actually bought into it. There is some joy there. All right, let's see what else we got here. Slumlord. Play calling was terrible. Reagor's best chance to make a play is a screen. Are you kidding me? He's terrible. His best chance to make a play is running the football. I think we've discovered Jalen Reagor is a running back, if anything. April, Mark, I see Frankie in your Philly stuff. Yeah, right there. There's Frank. And there's Dean. And there's Sammy. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to lower that. That's a nice picture. I should put it like down here so people can see it better. Anyway, the Rat Pack, the famous picture, one of the very famous pictures of the Rat Pack. Quanchi, am I saying that right? First-year quarterback in Dallas has been in the league how long now? I hear that. DG has dropped way too many. Dallas Goedert has dropped way too many passes. I agree. You want him to make some more big plays. He was targeted 3 times more than anybody yesterday, which is insane to me. People remember Dallas Goedert from the past. April saying people remember Dallas Goedert from the past and they give him a pass. Here's the thing. Like, I think Dallas Goedert is still has it in him to be a great tight end. And that's obviously why the Eagles gave him that deal. He's made huge plays. He's still one of their best targets, no doubt. And guys are going to drop passes just like quarterbacks are going to miss throws from time to time. Neither one of those things can be consistent. We have seen it too much from both parties. And that's why the Eagles are not a great football team. That's why they're a playoff team as the 7th seed, which is the bonus spot that the NFL put into the postseason structure last year. So they're and this is why I hate expanding playoffs in almost any sport. I think the playoff should be an accomplishment. They shouldn't be like, oh, cool, you're here too. Like that shouldn't be it. There should be an accomplishment. Like, there's no way the Steelers should have been in the playoffs. There's like this Eagles team should not have been a play. Like, it's just bonkers to me. But we'll expand the playoffs. It'll get people more interested. Come down to the wire with 18-week season. No, it was hard to look at anything more perfect than the NFL in a 16-game schedule with 6 teams making the playoffs in each conference. Like, that was a perfect structure. Expanding the playoffs makes the playoffs a hell of a lot less special. But April, I think that Dallas got to develop into a great tight end. Sushi Jalen is not it. Dante Farzy, they need a quarterback. I want Deshaun Watson. Yeah, the minute Deshaun Watson's legal stuff gets cleared up, we can have that conversation. Didn't Peyton Manning throw 22 interceptions or something like that his rookie year? Quanchi's saying that. Thing that drives me crazy is this was Jalen Hurts' first year as a full-time starter. No one looks at Peyton Manning's first year where he set the rookie record for interceptions. Don Vito, let's not pretend we're moral people with football decisions. I don't play moral police, but you don't know how long Deshaun Watson is going to be available. Like, that's the thing. Like, to society, let alone being a quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, he gets a pass because he was because he was the number 1 overall pick. Quanchi? Am I saying your name right? Don Vito, number 1 pick, a bit different, certainly. Wentz had a much better statistical season than Jalen Hurts. I show you blind numbers. Don Vito, you'd pick Wentz every day? I would not pick Wentz every day. God, no. Why am I comparing Carson Wentz to Jalen Hurts? Like, that's the thing. Like, Wentz is a veteran quarterback that whose best years are behind him. His best year is behind him. I am very happy the Eagles decided to go the way of Jalen Hurts rather than keep on trying to go with Carson Wentz for another year. That was dead and buried. And I'm not looking at Jalen Hurts right now as give him a 10-year deal. I'm looking at giving him next year. That's what I'm looking at. When you start comparing numbers, you're comparing different situations. It's like, I see Russell Wilson's name in here, even Peyton Manning's name in here. I see there's another name I saw glancing at the thing here from you, Don. Yeah, I'm taking a 23-year-old. Yeah, no, see, here's the thing. Jalen Hurts is 23 years old. He just got done his first year as your starting quarterback. He had a rookie head coach. I'm not a rookie play caller as well. He did not have a defense like Russell Wilson had to fall back on either. So, like, I'm not comparing different situations when it comes to Jalen Hurts. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts and saying he's got a lot of room for improvement. But I can look at this, like, when people were asking me earlier in the season about Jalen Hurts and saying, well, is it good that a quarterback is running this much? No. Blanket statement, no, it's not. Generally speaking, you don't have a lot of success with running quarterbacks in the NFL. The NFL is a passing league. That is what it is. It's a statement of fact. Yesterday was a perfect example of this. You had the number 1 passing team against the number 1 rushing team. And the number 1 passing team owned the number 1 rushing team. So, like, you need a guy that can throw the football. And for the people that want to say that Jalen Hurts doesn't have a strong arm, did you see that throw yesterday where he overthrew Quez Watkins with his back foot on the 10-yard line and he reached the opposing 30-yard line? That was insane. Where the hell's that been? But anyway, so I know he's got the arm to put it there. It's a matter of being accurate with it and making the decision ahead of time that that's where you're going. These are all mistakes made by a young quarterback. If you're looking at Jalen Hurts right now and you're absolutely saying, no way, like, you cut this guy, like, don't even keep him on the team, go get somebody else, please find a job in the Eagles front office, because we need you in there to be like, oh yeah, this sample size, what he did, not it, out. I'm not there with Jalen Hurts. I'm looking at a 23-year-old guy, just got done his first year as a full-time starter with a first-time coach making first-time play calls, first-time game plans. I'm looking at it as a whole. I'm not looking at it as just one guy's performance. I'm looking at everything that goes into it. And yes, he left a lot to be desired. He was far from perfect, but I can take that far from perfect from a young quarterback that doesn't have experience. Oh, and where was he playing? Where did he have this bad game? Oh, did he do that in the playoffs too? They're not bad. I can name 500 quarterbacks with bad first seasons that never panned out. That sounds like he got a lot of time. He's only played 3.5 games last year. April. Mally! What's up, Mally? Nice to have you. Julian, good morning. I mean, Don Vito, you're not making terrible points. I mean, at all. You're stating facts, but those facts are situations for other quarterbacks. We're talking about a first-year head coach. Like Russell Wilson at least had a coach that had been a coach in the NFL. One previous stop, obviously, with the Patriots. Went back to college and then was back with, back in the NFL with the Seahawks. And one of the things I'll give Pete Carroll all the credit in the world for is that if you remember, they just signed, what was it, Matt Flynn from the Packers to that mega deal with like 26 mega deal back then. It was like 2010, 2009. 2011. Yeah, 2011, third round pick, 2011. Him and Russell Wilson, Nick Foles, Russell Wilson, same round, same draft, third round. Russell Wilson was a rookie, and they just signed Matt Flynn to that $26 million deal, and he just threw like 6 interceptions in the last game of the season for Green Bay. He went into free agency. Seattle picked him up, and Pete Carroll was like, well, that's cool that we gave him all that money, but Russell Wilson's better, so we're starting him. And it panned out. They won a Super Bowl and went to another. Oh, God, we're talking. Oh, no, not Baker Mayfield. RG3. Oh, God. All right, this is, again, other people's situations. I agree with you don't win with a Russian quarterback. Don, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Mad Hatter. Eagles gave us a fun year and a future to look forward to. Okay, that's an optimistic way to look at it. He needs to develop. Another Don H is saying he needs to develop. He's young, 23 years old, same age as Mac Jones. It's Quincy's not betting against a guy with a good work ethic. I don't do that either. I don't like to do that. Don Vito saying, Farzy, I'm not a stat guy. The other guys are. I'm glancing at this while I'm scrolling. I see the numbers. I saw the names you were comparing. And I'm not saying you're a stat guy. I'm just saying, Don, that Don Vito, this is not Don H. These are just other people's situations. And like, this is where I always say, numbers never lie, but they do deceive. Numbers don't incorporate the situation. That's what people, it's a bottom line thing for an individual, but it doesn't take into account all the drops that you can see on a given play. Like the other thing, like there's no stat for not seeing Quez Watkins. So like there's another negative that goes against Jalen Hurts that we don't even account for, that he doesn't scan the field well enough yet. And again, I can take that from a guy who's 23 years old. To go back to the question about, is it good that a quarterback is running this much? Answer the question, blanket statement, no, it is not. But I can take this from a young quarterback that's still trying to survey the field and learn the NFL, learn his new head coach, learn a first-year head coach's system, and all that. I can take it from a young quarterback. If Jalen Hurts is 25 or 26 years old and he's doing all this, see you later. Kind of like Carson Wentz. If a young quarterback like that, when he comes into the league, has that Superman complex, and he's like, no, I can fight my way through this. I can get through this play. And then he's still doing that. And then he's fumbling the football or throwing interceptions. And then he's still trying to do that at 27, 28, 29 years old. You got to stop that, because you might not be a running quarterback, but you're still a quarterback who is putting yourself in peril because, no, I'm not going to take the sack here. I'm going to fight through it, fumble. Oh, no, I'm not going to take the sack here. I'm going to throw it away. It's interception. Those are all bad habits that people need to get out of. Don H, yeah, he needs to read the field better. I agree with that. Thank you, Don. I think everyone agrees. I think that's a pretty obvious thing there. I think I'm just stating the obvious with that. Oh, wow. April, Dak is not who you want in the playoffs ever. Dak Prescott, what an enigma. Like, can't win the big game. They got one playoff win under him as their starting quarterback. My question is, what the hell happened to their running game? Ezekiel Elliott, I actually did the numbers on this. Let me see if I have them offhand. But Ezekiel Elliott was having his worst season ever in terms of yards per game. And I want to see if I can just find that for you real quick. If it's not in my 2 pages of notes here, I'll move on. I swear to you. But Ezekiel Elliott had his worst yards per game average in his career this year. It was like 58 yards per game. I think Tony Pollard was like 50. And he didn't sign any mega deal, tell you that much. Anyway. Don, absolutely not. Carson Wentz did not have reliable receivers in Philly. Don Vito, is it Don or Don H? We need a lot of Dons. What's up, guys? We need to invest in a proven, reliable receiver. Could not agree with that more. Thanks to everyone that participated in the chat. You guys are awesome. Always enjoy the chat check. You guys are fantastic. Let me get into our morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. This is incredible, and boy, does it apply. Boy, does it apply to our morning rush. Because this lady, Mrs. Kelsey, went from Tampa, Florida, travel issues, got to Kansas City, Missouri, okay, to see the Chiefs, watched her son, Jason, lose, unfortunately, in the first round of the playoffs to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. She hops on a flight. She gets over to Kansas City just in time to make it to the Kansas City Chiefs, and her other son, Travis Kelce, beating the crap out of Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers in Ben's last game. And she just makes it in time. And not only does she make it to the game, they pull a little fast one on Travis Kelce in the post-game news conference. In case you haven't seen this, here is Mrs. Kelce asking the first question. And you'll see it. Travis Kelce's response like, wait, huh? That's my mom's name. Check this out.
We'll go first to Donna Kelce.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, it's your mom.
What's up, Mom? I'm glad you made it.
Now, yeah, I know. I actually made it at a disappointing Tampa game. This was an elation to see you get a touchdown in a playoff game. I mean, oh my gosh, how good did that feel? How good did that feel after all these years?
Oh, man. To finally throw a touchdown, like I used to tell my mom when I was like 5 years old, I was going to eventually throw a touchdown in the National Football League. I finally got it done. It only took me 9 years. That's a good question, though, Mom.
Yeah, that's awesome. It was so fun, and that's what makes sports so great, because you can be depressed in the morning and elated in the evening. So
there you go. Glad I could put a smile on your face. Love you, Mom.
Yeah, you too. Love you too.
She's the best, man.
Like the look on his face, like, wait, that's my mom's name. Oh my God, Mom! That's amazing. That is awesome. Like, I know a lot of people forget these people are humans, and they got moms, and they got fathers, and they got families, and the whole thing. That's just to hear a parent enjoying their son's success as much as you just heard Mrs. Kelce enjoying the success there, and then also giving her other son a shout out, saying that it sucked that he wasn't, that obviously her older son couldn't win in Tampa against Tom Brady. She gives him a shout out, saying, "Yeah, it was really tough in the morning, but in the night, oh, it was great." It's a nice thing. It's a really nice moment. Hey, so the Cowboys suck, and we enjoy that. And I often think of Cartman from South Park in that one horrific episode where I won't reveal the plot, but it basically ends with him drinking the tears and licking the tears off the face of his immortal enemy. It's a really messed up episode now that I think about it. But anyway, it makes me think of the Dallas Cowboys and how when they lose, it's like, so good. Tears of unfathomable sadness. Like, that's how I think of it. And then, a little sugar on top of those tears, the Dallas Cowboy fans were throwing things at their players as they walked off the field. Now, I'm not celebrating this. I'm merely saying I thought, oh, this only happened in Philadelphia. I thought we were the only scumbag people stealing our act. Here's what's awful about that. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. This is from, I think is it Jenny Slater? I hope I'm getting her name right. But here she is. She tweeted this out after the Cowboys lost to the 49ers. Jane Slater, excuse me. The Cowboys fans are throwing things at their own players. When I saw this, like if I'm getting work ready or whatever, and I have the TV on, whatever, I'm Sports Center on, no illusion. Like they show the highlights for the game, and then they go to the next game. If this was Philadelphia, it would have absolutely been, oh, look at Philadelphia after they lose and off the field, fans are throwing stuff at their players. Headline news. The fact that it's Dallas, or let me even just say this. The fact that it's not Philly, first and foremost, the fact that it's Dallas, it doesn't get talked about. That's just atrocious. There are buttheads everywhere, especially in Dallas, but it barely gets mentioned. Well, here's what I hated. When a Philly fan dumped popcorn on Russell Westbrook as he walked off the field against the Sixers in round 1 of the playoffs last year, I said immediately that fan needed to be banned from the stadium. And then it was like the butthead test. If you look at that and go, oh, it's only popcorn, then congratulations, you're a butthead, and you shouldn't go to games. Those people in Dallas that were chucking things at their own players, you're all buttheads. You shouldn't be allowed back in a game. As simple as that. And the fact that, yes, if it happened in Philadelphia, it'd be national news. But the fact that it happened in Dallas, it's not. That's also atrocious. Now, when I last saw that tweet, it got about 9,000 tweets from an NFL Network reporter. So hopefully it does get a little bit more attention, simply to promote the idea. Don't be a butthead. This is stupid. To throw things on the field, whatever it may be, talking to you, Buffalo, or throw things at your players as they walk off the field is awful. Absolutely awful. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. We got through it together is what we did. We got through it together, by golly. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Marc Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show at the Steven Singer Studio. Jim Hyden produced the program. This is a Buzz Sports Entertainment production. Tomorrow morning, we'll be joined by Quentin Michael of Inside the Birds Empire, as well as Q&A with Quentin Michael and Jason Avant. He'll join the show tomorrow to help us break down exactly what he saw from this Eagles game against the Buccaneers, as well as what he saw from this Eagles season, as well as what he saw from Jalen Hurts as a quarterback and what the Eagles think of him going forward. Quentin Michael will join the show tomorrow, so you don't want to miss that. Thanks so... April. I'm glad you noticed the thing about Buffalo. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Oh, and Don, thank you. I appreciate the Italians loving me. I appreciate that. If you guys are Calabrese, then we might be cousins. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.